And so this is Xello, and it's the same login page for everybody. The website is xello.world. And with a simple click, I'm going straight into I'm going to start with the educators side.
Okay.
And so this is a space for you to manage everything related to managing student groups, any activities that you want to ask the students to do, if you want to start grouping those students as they move up through the schools into groups associated with, specific vocational routes, athletic groups. So we have some here. We have some kids that are participating in a Gear Up program, some CDOS students, a group of students that potentially might be going to York Tech, NCAA. Very easy to do that. Create a group and it's easy to do this.
Okay.
Gives you a snapshot about what's been happening throughout your school and throughout the students that you oversee. And if you want to go into more detail, again, easy snapshot into something like, identifying a career that's been the most suggested. Well, what it allows me to do is, you got a high school teacher here, or any kind of career, you start to identify those students, again, group them, and have those conversations earlier, and have more meaningful engagement with those students. This can be identified by anybody in the school. So Xello is a cross-departmental tool. Of course, it sometimes is run out of the library, sometimes is run out of the counselling office. It's not unheard of that a core subject teacher would come to the counselling office and say, which students are interested in, studying biology, or which students are interested in becoming an aerospace engineer, and making events, career-specific events, and bringing in guest speakers around this.
Neat.
Really planting that seed early, whether it's related to a particular college major or whether it's related to a particular career pathway. Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're going to go into, let's take a look at a grade 11 student. Very easy. It gives you that. It always will give you their usernames on here. And if the schools are integrated with Google, which are an increasing majority are, we can we can make this with Google single sign-on. So that same username and password that they're using for all of their other programs, it's the same.
Okay.
Yeah, it means that the counsellors are not flapping around at the start of a lesson and wasting 10-15 minutes trying to find the passwords.
Yep.
So the students access it from the same space. And this is what quite a completed student profile will look like. Here's one that's not so completed.
Okay.
So you can see it's a little bit more on here. It's a little bit more visual nowadays within this compared to career cruising. When we were developing Xello, and we still do it now actually, pretty much daily, if not once every 2 days, we have students coming in from the Toronto area, and they will come into our office, and we'll work on very specific things in part of the development to see how they've engaged with things. So one of the things that we did was looking at these icons, these emoticons, I guess you could call them, and figuring out which one do they resonate with. Do they resonate better with ticks and crosses? Do they resonate better with faces or anything like this? So there's a lot of thought being gone into, a vast amount of detail in this.
Okay.
What we did is we took away the clarification section, so you only click on it if you need it, rather than it being provided for you. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And the aim of this is keeping things simple as possible. Here's one that I completed earlier, and it's given me a list of suggested careers now. We can start to filter around, and you can see it actually filters them in real time.
Yeah. Okay. Neat.
Of course, we didn't put a maximum on. There's a minimum, but there's no maximum on the earnings because who would put a maximum?
Yeah. Who knows?
The new thing that we've put on here, and it really starts to help them critically assess a career path, is by looking at the career demand.
That's nice.
So I want to look at high and increasing demand. I've already started to filter out a lot of those careers. Pretty ambitious. Want to get in a career where it's six figures at some point in the future. So I've got 29 careers that I'm starting to identify.
Okay.
That I'm starting to identify would potentially be something for the future. So let's take a look at a biochemist, for example. This is the new career profile. The difference between something like Xello and Naviance or Bridges or Choices or Guidance Direct is that we have a dedicated team within our company, and we invest in these individuals, that they take this information, this career profile information from the available websites, the nationally available websites. They will translate it into between middle and high school level language level.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay.
So it's giving them a lot more accessible language. We've remained with the interviews, of course, but yeah, here we go. This is a really key thing. Increasing demand. Why is it increasing demand? A description of their core tasks, of what it's like in the workplace, of the working conditions, state-specific earnings.
Oh, neat. Okay.
Yeah, whether you want to do it wage or salary. Sometimes students have a difficult time understanding a salary. What might make more sense to them in their situation as they are is an hourly wage.
Yeah, that's nice.
Again, this is the kind of stuff that comes from investing in testing and research with students, asking them the questions of trying to understand how much they can conceptualize a salary as opposed to a wage, and figuring out, hey, it might be actually more useful if we put both in there for them. A simple career path, very simple outline here. Some suggestions on a education path, and then some suggested majors.
Yeah, that's really neat.
So let's say I like all this. I've saved it, as you can see on here. I've saved it to my profile. How do we make this authentic for the students? Storyboard. This is a whole new space, and it's a whole new concept within future planning, career planning. This is where they can actually start to look outside of Xello. So they're not just living within this program that the teachers have given them. They're looking at real life. They're bringing in links from YouTube, from Facebook, from any Dropbox that they have, or Gmail, Google Drive that they have, just external links as well, all related around biochemistry in this instance, and just bringing those in so it helps that critical reflection of this as a career. Again, at the top, this is for every single career. It will ask them to not just save this career, but let's think about it. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why do you like this? I've decided that I like it a lot. Make some notes around it. What are some of the important factors that I bring? So, a question that people will often ask themselves is this going to give me a good work-life balance? Knowing what I do know about a biochemist and the information that's been presented to me, I give it a 4. And start to actually engage with it rather than
evaluate it. That's really nice.
Absolutely. Because this is a skill that, let's not forget, will happen in life. Now, if kids are just being prepped to go in one pathway, it's been instilled in them that they will go to a particular college and pursue a particular major and pursue a particular career path. You've got to ask yourself what happens to that kid's anxiety levels if anything veers from that pathway. So this instills with them the skills and therefore confidence of being able to look and appraise options when things don't go to plan, because things rarely do, right? Yeah. And just bringing in, starting to help them develop the skill of bringing in information and actually being able to research options for themselves. So let's say I've identified that here's an architect. I like an architect. I think I'd be quite good at it. So I'm going to see some related college programs nearby. Let's go with architecture. Again, this is an information on a bachelor's diploma in architecture. And I can do a very quick state-specific search of what colleges, what schools in my area. Absolutely. Is there a normal college typically that your students are going to, and a university that's nearby that normally you would see your students go to?
RPI is right nearby. So that, I mean, a lot of these I would say, but RPI is right nearby.
Okay, let's go with this one.
Oh yeah, sorry, Rensselaer Poly. You knew what I meant.
Yeah. Quick information at a glance on here. Now, for the larger institutions, RPI would count as a fairly large one. You get some downtown NYC colleges that are so specific. They've only got a few hundred students. Of course, the information is more difficult to get from them. But again, this information is not just copied and pasted from their prospectus. It's written by our content team. Where possible, we've integrated with their Facebook, any kind of social media pages that these guys have. A breakdown of the enrollment. I mean, in the past, this information was just presented in a black and white, not even all that visual way. What it's like on the campus, how I might go about, how likely I am to get in here.
Yeah.
Right. So let's go with it. There you go. Yeah, how likely I am to get in this school with an ACT or an SAT. and this is a bunch of information, but I'm going to scroll down because this is important. They can actually do a virtual tour of these campuses now and start to
Oh,
look
wow.
at what
Yeah.
is it like going to be like when food and drink, entertainment,
Mm-hmm.
groceries, and this is Google Maps. So what I can do
Mm-hmm.
is drag and drop, and I am on the campus.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, institutions will have, you see where these blue dots are. These are,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, they're taking it within the campus, you know.
Neat.
So yeah, it gives them a chance to virtually do a campus visit.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And again, build in some storyboard
Yeah.
from outside websites, YouTube, Facebook, etc.
Mm-hmm.
But finally, with all this in mind, like we've looked at the career, we've looked at the major, and then we've looked at the college. Either one of those three starting points is a viable starting point. There's no right or wrong answer as to whether you have identified a college and you want to use that um, as the trigger for creating a plan, or whether that's based on
Mm-hmm.
using a career as a trigger, or a major
Yeah.
as a trigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're asking them, what's
Oh,
your
okay.
starting point?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it was a biochemist, right, that we saw earlier.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So see, these are some of the colleges that I've saved out of town.
Okay.
So it's basically I'm gonna have saved some majors and saved some colleges, and then I can basically render these. I can make these a little bit more specific. So if I'm saving like 25 careers, if I'm saving 25 colleges and 25 majors, I can start to render these and concentrate a little bit more on these.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And this is what the plan would look like to start with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So shareable with everybody. It's also a curriculum. So we have lessons in here. So this particular lesson and activity is about choosing a college. I'm halfway through this. It's asking me to pick the 5 factors that are important to you when I'm looking for a college.
Okay, then rate them. Neat. Okay.
Absolutely, yeah. So it's really focusing on the critical stuff. Well, you saw that activity then was focused on selecting 5. Like the physical thing that I had to do was select 5 things.
Mm-hmm.
We make them different all the way. You know, it's a different physical thing that you have to do. So it's not just click and play, click and play. Students have actually they've actually got to start thinking about these things, right?
They have to formulate a thought.
I'm looking at this question thinking, like, what actually am I going to write here?
There we go.
So there's a number of lessons in here, and of course within the school, whether it's a counselling office want to do this, or the librarian, or even, you know, and we would encourage that other teachers of other subjects get involved in this as well, because you can start to involve common application, or the financial aid website, or other things that you know that are unique and maybe a little bit creative that you can put on there and ask your students to engage with. And this is an activity that I've been assigned as a student.
Okay.
So in a nutshell, that's Xello. We've gone through how I'm learning about me. There's an assessment of my likes and dislikes. There's also an assessment of my learning style.
Okay, I saw that too. Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. These are grayed out right now. Once I've completed these assessments, they come into life. They become colored.
Okay.
So I can learn about me, even places, you know. Do you know what I mean? So they're making it specific for themselves, making it authentic to themselves, and looking at what interests that they have and likes and dislikes.
Yeah, cool.
Once they've done this, they'll move on to explore their options, which is what we did. And once they've done this, they'll move on to creating a plan and making it actionable. So we've really taken away the noise from, the career cruising is still a comprehensive program, but
yeah,
maybe
this
a
is
little bit
nice
noisy
and
for the
streamlined.
students. Yeah. And so that's that. So I'm going to stop this recording now, unless you had any questions that you wanted to keep on.
No, this is really great. I appreciate it.